Wow, hi. Who set this up? Who put you? Just finished work, just logged off from work. I'm a trainee solicitor, by the way. My name's Eve. I should have started with that. My name's Eve, Eve Cornwell to be precise. You might know me, not personally, but you might know of me online. I make content. I've also made a video on this channel before. I did a coffee recipe video, which mostly went well. Like, most of it did go well. I mean, the coffee was great, but I did get some comments from people kind of saying, girl, you've done it again.
Constantly raising the bar for us all.
So basically, last time I posted a video, people were like, give us more law. And I was like, hell yeah, I can do that. I kind of wanted to provide some law that I think would be important. Now, don't get me wrong, all law is important. If you've ever bought anything in your life, a piece of clothing, a coffee, we're back to coffee. I need to keep off the coffee subject because we're on the wine this evening. No, I'm joking. If you've ever bought anything, that's a contract that you've entered into. Are you currently sat in a flat or an apartment or a house? That's a piece of real estate. That's a tenancy agreement. That's a lease agreement. That's a rent agreement. That's a bit of law. Basically, law's bloody everywhere. It's in the air. Law's everywhere. You can't get away from law. It's around us. It protects us, but it also upholds justice. And an important part of that justice process is your jury duty. Why does this feel like an infomercial? Do your part for our country. Do your jury duty. Well, you actually have no choice in that. Unless you fit into a small, very narrow group of people that are exempt from jury duty, if you get called for jury duty, you're doing it. So who gets called for jury duty? So if you're in England and Wales and you're on the electoral register, which I hope you are, if you're of an age where you can vote, you better be registered to vote. If you're between 18 and 75 years old and you're on the electoral register, you can be asked to do jury duty. You can be one day past 18 years old and you can get that letter through the door saying, time's up, matey, meet me in court, which is actually not what the letter says. Instead, what you will receive is a jury summons form. If you get a jury summons form, you can do essentially two things. You can either respond to the form and confirm that you will be doing your jury duty, which will probably apply to like 99% of people, or you can apply to delay your jury duty. How do I delay my jury duty, you ask? I heard you say that. There are actually quite a flexible amount of reasons why you can delay your jury duty. If you've already booked a holiday for when the jury duty would occur, or if you're scheduled to have an operation, or if your employer won't let you have time off work, then you can defer your jury duty. But in deferring your jury duty, you have to confirm when over the next 12 months you will be free to do the jury duty. So you're not really getting out of it. You're kind of just rescheduling. It's like you're rescheduling brunch with a friend, but you're rescheduling upholding justice. Now, once you've actually been called to court, which will probably just be your local most convenient court, a convenient court near you, once you've actually been called to court and you arrive on the day, the prosecution or defense can actually look at a jury lineup and they can make an argument for if they want to remove someone from the jury. So if they think there is someone that is questionable or contentious on the jury, or they have a problem with the general makeup or the diversity of the jury, then they can appeal to the judge to have certain jury members removed. So what happens if you're a member of the jury? So you get to court, you get your free tea and coffee, you've applied for your time off work, you've got your time off work. Generally, the trials will take around 10 days. If it's a longer trial, then you will be notified of that when you first get to court. If they're expecting cross-examination or witness evidence to go on for a particularly long time, and it can do some really complex cases, criminal cases as well, can go on for like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 weeks. They can be very, very long, and you still need to be a jury throughout the whole thing. Then you will be notified when you first get to court, and they will say, this one's gonna be a biggie. Well, they won't say it like that. Then you will be assigned your case and your trial, and you'll go into court, and fingers crossed you don't get removed from the jury gallery by the defense or the prosecution. That's when the trial starts, and the defense and the prosecution barristers will start to deliver their arguments as to why they think the accused is guilty or not guilty. Their opinion doesn't really matter that much because you as the jury have the final say. I think that's something that's maybe a common misconception, and it's the power that a jury really holds. The point of a jury is that you're adding non-influenced, non-biased, independent opinion and fair observation to a situation. You hear both sides of the argument, you listen to the evidence, you're there and present in the courtroom, and then between you, you're deciding whether a person is guilty or not guilty. What will happen after the prosecution and defense have delivered all their arguments is the jury will be excused and they will be shown to a deliberation room. And in a deliberation room, the jury will sit around a table, depending on the size of the jury. It could be 10 of you sat around a table, it could be 15 of you sat around a table, and between you, you will discuss everything that you've heard of the trial so far. Now, that deliberation process can really vary, because I've sat on public galleries before where deliberations have taken less than half an hour, or it could be a really split room. You could go back to a room and half could think he's guilty, half could think he's not guilty, and essentially the jury have to talk it out between them before they come to a unanimous decision. There are procedures in place for where the jury is literally completely split, but that's kind of like a very rare circumstance. One member of the jury will speak on behalf of the jury. They will stand up and they will say the jury find the defendant guilty or not guilty. It will then of course fall to the judge on the sentencing of the defendant. So that's been a little bit of a juicy insight, a juicy little story time into what jury service is like, what you can expect, and why it is so important as one of our instruments of legal justice in England and Wales. And if you ever get asked a question, you can say, oh, I remember watching a video on that. Can't really remember what she said, but I did watch something on that once. I hope you're all safe and well. I hope you're all doing fine. If you're working from home, shout out to my working from home queens. A bigger shout out to all my essential workers. You're doing incredible. If you've got university or high school exams, shout out to you because you're also doing incredible. To be honest, we're getting through this crisis and we're all thriving together. So I think we're all great. Have a sticker from me. There you go. Just put a sticker on you. And for any more life updates, come and follow me on my YouTube channel or on my Instagram. We kind of just chill over there, and I will hopefully see you very soon. Bye bye.